Yep, which means Frieza is number 1. Yes, I called it. All the way.
12 seconds later.
Who is this? Monster Carrot? What? Generic intro in the Duck Goes. We're back with some more DBcember by Team 4-Star. Today we are finishing out the top 24 villains in Dragon Ball with part 5, which is 3, 2, and 1. Frieza has to be number 1. Absolutely has to be number 1. Maybe Vegeta's number 1. I don't know. I definitely think Frieza's gonna be number 1. If you want to check my reaction to part 3 and 4, I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below the description. And maybe I'll make a playlist for DBcember because people really like these videos, and thank you so much for the support you've shown on these videos. Apparently people say, like, people don't react to DBcember. I don't know, am I really just reacting to stuff that nobody else is reacting to? That's really weird, because, like, these are very reactable. I'm not really sure. I haven't done the Dragon Ball Super Villains bonus episode. Maybe I'll mix it in with the video games, or maybe it'll be at standalone. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Read all your comments and leave some down below. Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully I can make it better. Shout out to the patrons. They get the videos a day early. Live on a paywall on the channel. I've never seen Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, any of that. I've only ever seen Dragon Ball Z abridged. So let's get into part 5. As my phone is blowing up. Jesus Christ. I made to post on Instagram. That doesn't happen often. You're gonna check that out. It's Kyle Zelnak. Just search DuckGoesmoo. It should pop up, hopefully. Maybe. King Piccolo.
Find out later that this guy is a slug and not
I thought they already did
not
Piccolo.
a demon king, but instead
What? So he's number 3.
This joke is so
Vegeta's number
tired,
2,
his
Frieza's
nickname
number
is
1. Has to.
Firestone. But you know, it does speak in King Piccolo's favor that they decided to just rip him off whole hog and search for a decent movie villain.
It's worth noting that these top 3 are all favorites in our eyes. While certain criteria may have put them in a particular order, to us,
okay, I was
these
not
last
sure who the
villains
third
are
was going to be.
best the series has to offer, and the finer qualities of each were coined in large
So
part
massive.
by the demon Namekian slug lord himself, King Piccolo.
By the time the 22nd
Demon
World
Slug
Martial
Lord.
Arts Tournament was wrapping up, we'd had
That's
plenty
the
of
end.
villains. The comedic trio of the Peel-Off Gang, the ambitious and terrible Red Ribbon Army, the professional assassin Tao Pai Pai.
Yeah,
and
that we're
Baba's
doing
troop
recap.
of monstrous misfits and the Crane School.
Quick note, Take
Crane School.
Shinhan didn't make the list because he barely even qualified as an antagonist and hardly even
Yeah.
commits any acts of villainy
'Cause I know he was
breaking Yamcha's
evil.
leg, which, while terrible, ranks kinda low.
But it was
Yamcha.
with the entrance of the terrifying
thank him
King
for that.
Piccolo that we were introduced to a true out-and-out big bad. An all-powerful demon
Well, what's the
king
other
whose sight
Piccolo?
sets on world domination and the means to
Was
do
it-
it,
it might have been his
sparing
son.
nobody in his merciless, bloody conquest to secure his place atop a throne of bodies and rubble.
And
Didn't
it
he
was
get,
both
like, a
bloody
12-year-old
and
through his
merciless.
chest?
After being set free from his prison, forced upon him by Master Roshi's late master Mutaito, the first thing on his
Roshi had a
to-do list
master?
is
Okay.
knocking off every single fighter he can find so nobody can put him back where he belongs. Spitting
Oh,
out more
well.
children than an Irish
Ew.
Catholic rabbit, he makes quick work of numerous previous antagonists from the World Martial Arts Tournament, including Nom, Giran, Manwolf, and even Krillin.
Mammoth.
No!
Krillin. Wait, he killed Krillin?
See, we're all familiar with death in Dragon Ball, but at this point in the series,
It was the first time.
Krillin's death is completely shocking and unprecedented. The manner in which it happens as well is
Should've done a favor and
enough
left
to
him
make your blood
dead.
run cold as he's helplessly murdered by Piccolo's henchmen, leaving his
Oh.
body for his friends to find and Goku furious.
It was
Yeah.
rare until this point to see Goku this heartbroken and angry
Also, you skip
over,
the intro. I've only
well,
ever seen Dragon Ball Z
anything.
Bridge. That's it.
But the death of Krillin leaves him in a blind rage that ends up nearly getting him killed. Twice.
Oh,
it's a rampage
twice.
of
Well, he's saying
revenge
so that makes him
destruction
stronger.
that leads him to King Piccolo, and a fierce fight that leaves him having to use the ultra-convenient
What?
ultra-divine water to stand any chance.
King Piccolo is a
Cap.
frightening,
I'm calling Cap.
imposing, monstrously strong beast of a villain at
Oh, there's
this
a Dragon
point
Ball
in
on his
the
neck.
series. His
How is it
green
even
and purple
attached?
color scheme work well with his towering figure, and he definitely carries an air of authority around him, ruling through fist
Well,
and
his
fear.
name is King
He gets
Piccolo.
Shit done. All with a
Like
veritable
King Fur
orchestra of
Bradley.
musically inspired henchmen to do his bidding. Can I just take a
That
second
dragon's
to
not
look at
even
how
flying.
crazy it is that Piccolo
Oh, now
and
the
all
wings.
his henchmen are named after instruments, yet still manage to be intimidating? I mean, except for piano.
By the time he's made his way
Piano.
to the Dragon Balls to gain
Hey,
back
Shinron.
his
What's up,
youth,
dude?
He's seen to the death of 3 of the main ensemble, including Krillin, Roshi, and Chaozu. And
How do you
then,
kill Roshi?
in a move never before seen nor repeated, he kills Shenron firsthand, removing any hope of bringing them back. It's
How do
a
you kill the
shocking
Eternal
scene
Dragon?
that raises the stakes of the arc to record highs and makes the ensuing battle all the more tense.
What Piccolo does with his youth is also pretty compelling. He immediately takes over the entire world, then proceeds to implement
one
his
does.
own twisted laws. He even begins a lottery to pick which province he'd attack with his demonic henchmen, nearly getting Bulma's parents killed. It's only thanks
Oh.
to Ten Shinhan that he doesn't wipe them and their city off the face of the earth.
And throughout
That's a
all
weird
this,
lottery system.
His evil, twisted personality
I think
is
I'd
on
move out of
full
the city.
display. Whether it be in battle or his role as ruler, everything he does is as dark and twisted as you can get while still keeping this a kid's show. From taking control of the
Is it a
world,
kid's show?
murdering all opponents,
Might be.
making crime legal, and even betraying the lovable, unforgettable Pilaf trio.
By the way, they're also in the arc, and they're a ton of fun.
He causes no end of
They
grief
love
and
them.
suffering for the
They're so
entire
goofy.
world.
And his battle with Goku
So number 2 has to
really
be Vegeta.
emphasizes his
It has to.
underhanded, villainous character. He uses every dirty tactic he can think of to beat Goku in both of their fights, going as far as to take Tenshinhan as hostage and then cripple Goku, both as a manner of achieving his victory and flat-out torture. Of course, Goku barely manages to scrap together a win, but never before in the
Yeah, he
series
goes
has
through-
he
yeah,
had the
he did
fighting
go through
charge
his
he does
chest.
here.
If there's any strikes against
Which
him, it's
is
that
weird
he
because
certainly
he's
doesn't
slow.
have
That
much
shouldn't kill him.
depth besides
Maybe.
being
I don't know.
incredibly evil. But the visuals and his actions within the story do more than enough to sell him, regardless of a lack of complex motives. Some people just want to see the world burn, and Piccolo
That's
is
him.
happy to provide the kerosene in matches.
You could also say that his use of the Dragon Balls to wish back his youth instead of immortality could be a flaw, but that's arguable too.
Is it?
Also, the manner
Yeah,
in
you
which
could find him
Goku
again.
powers up is easily one of the cheapest and least satisfying in the series. But that's more of a mark against the arc and less the character himself. And it's still one of the best arcs
guess
in
you
the
can't really
series,
count that against him.
easily the
Is that
best
the piano?
King Piccolo
It's
set
piano.
the template for main villains of Dragon Ball, and would be a high bar to hit moving forward. A
Oh, they hit
towering,
it, though.
terrifying, tenacious tyrant. He earns his spot firmly at number 3. Hail to the king, baby.
Do you agree with this list at all? What would you change it with the list? This is the last one.
what would come after
Vegeta.
it?
Yep,
King
which
but
means
a
Frieza is number 1.
Marks later anyway.
Yes, I
What
called
is
it.
the process
All
of
the way.
succession within the Saiyan hierarchy? Is it like Klingons? Would he have had to have killed his father to become king?
Met his wife.
Regardless, much like a prince to a king,
That's a good question.
Prince Vegeta ranks at number 2.
Cyberman.
Barely, I might add. There's a pretty decent argument for him being numero uno, but that spot has been
Yeah,
dominated
I could
pretty
see it.
firmly by...
Hey, don't spoil people, Kaiser.
But
Of course, because
you know.
who else could it be?
Vegeta is
Exactly.
a complex and polarizing
Even I know
character
it.
whose impact on the series can hardly be measured. Fans of the series need
over
a little
9,000.
backstory. He's the Saiyan Prince. He came to Earth for immortality via the Dragon Balls, but Goku and friends send him packing. He then goes on to be a staple for the series in a big way.
And becomes a good guy.
Opened the entire world of Dragon Ball up to the introduction of monkeys in
monkey.
space. It was the appearance of Vegeta with his bald,
Power Rangers in
burly
space.
bestie Nappa that truly set
Stop.
things on a crazy new course.
Vegeta's design
Give me
is
Cell, not
unique,
Nappa.
and in a good way. While most characters would never be able to pull off the troll doll hair and a height that leaves him chest high with most of the cast, his ever-present smirk and steely eyes, accompanied by a posture and
Yikes.
presence that just screams confidence, instantly
He's a prince.
communicates his personality.
But he's a lot more than he looks. His first appearance in the Saiyan saga uses his partner Nappa to full advantage. His clear authority over Nappa tells the audience through Nappa's
Big
actions
ears.
that this character is clearly the more terrifying of the two. And when
Even
the
though
Ball
Nappa's
Bruiser has murdered his
going
way
crazy.
through most of the present cast, you can only assume that Vegeta must be unstoppable.
And
Yeah,
when he does
which
throw
he
down
might
with
as well be.
Goku, it's a marvelous battle. A Saiyan elite versus a commoner in a
Isn't that one of the most
drag-out,
famous, like,
no-holds-barred
scenes in Dragon Ball
spectacle
ever? That
pushes
scene right
them
there?
both to the very brink, in a beam struggle that has arguably never been topped, even edging out Gohan versus Cell for many.
Of course, after his
Yeah,
loss
really?
on Earth, which took the combined efforts of every single surviving warrior on the battlefield, he would continue to be a big
I
player
said
in the
Vegeta was
coming
gonna be number
Namek
2, Frieza
saga.
was number
With
1.
his own selfish goals in mind, he continues the role of villain masterfully, even as an even bigger,
He has his
badder
tail in-
figure
over
looms
there,
over him
I
and the
think.
heroes. This
This
is
is fun.
Vegeta at some of his best, too. Outsmarting and outfighting opponents on all sides,
This
sneaking
is all
around
fun.
and strategically murdering his way to victory, until everything comes
That's
crashing
typically how
down
you do
for
it.
him, as things with Vegeta want to do.
One word that is completely inseparable
And he gets his arm broken
from
by
Vegeta
18.
is
Short,
no.
Annoying?
Okay,
narcissistic,
come on.
What else speaks?
All right, the joke's been
Napoleon
made.
complex.
Okay, now you're using 2 words. It's pride. Vegeta is a proud warrior due to his own inherent strength, his status, and the race from which he hails. He is the prince
Yeah.
of all Saiyans, and it's as intrinsic to his character as his
I love
spiky
that they
hair
do
and
that.
affinity
Because
for
that's the
mouse.
only voice I'm
Just
familiar
right
with.
into possibly the most defining aspect of Vegeta's character, his rivalry with Goku. While the idea of a
Kakarot?
rival for a main character had been thrown around more than a few times, few characters actually pursued this goal as feverishly as Vegeta did.
And then he
None
becomes
were
friends
given
with
the
him.
same length of time. While Piccolo's grudge definitely sticks around for a good while, it's all but squashed by the time he's dying for the man's son.
And it's through that rivalry that Vegeta finds both urgency and development. After his crippling defeat at the
Ooh.
hands of Frieza, he leaves
Did he
his dying
die?
wishes to Goku. But upon his resurrection, the murdering prince's goals become crystal clear and solitary. Become stronger than Goku. While this
Which I
overwhelming
don't think he
drive
ever
to defeat
does,
his
does he?
rival propels him to new heights through the Cell Saga, in which I might add, he toes the line between anti-villain and full-on villain on several occasions.
How many people does he murder in his fight with Android 18?
And how
It's
many does he
18.
put at risk when he lets Semi-Perfect Cell absorb
Oh,
them?
yeah.
Unlike all of them.
It isn't until the Boo Saga when we see it come full circle. After the death
Really?
of Future Trunks, we see a much more
Future
subdued,
Trunks.
almost domesticated Vegeta. With Goku
He was
out
very
of the
mad.
picture, he's focused mostly on keeping up with his training rather than dominating his now deceased rival.
But when Goku re-enters the picture and Vegeta is
Yeah.
faced with the reality of the
Hey,
power
Goku's
gap,
not going
his
away
final
anytime soon.
act as a villain plays out. Through a Faustian bargain, he gains a tremendous power-up, but at the loss of any moral fiber he may have developed through the series.
Huh?
He careens the fight against
Oh,
Bobby into a
Majin.
grudge match against
My
Goku,
friend has that same
slaughtering
tattoo on his
thousands
forehead.
in a show of intent.
This fight is among the finest in the series as well, showcasing fantastic choreography and memorable character moments that all add up to one of the most powerful moving scenes in Dragon Ball, his sacrifice to defeat Majin Buu. And this is where the true complexity of Vegeta comes into play.
We've mentioned his role as
Huh?
an anti-villain before.
I never
His
watched
roles
the
have
Boo
never
Saga,
been
so.
for greater good, even after they have switched from immortality to defeating threats against our heroes. He acts autonomously and
He's
with
very
zero
complex.
regard for the people
That's
around
for
him,
sure.
including allies, his wife, and his baby son.
Trunks.
While he reigns in his violence post-Frieza, this seems more a means to an end than anything. He knows that if he causes trouble, his chances at a fair rematch with Goku go down the drain.
Which is why it's so
True.
understandable that
They're gonna talk
when
about
Goku
Frieza
disappears
for a
good,
while.
He loses his will to fight and improve with the ferocity on display in the previous arcs. It isn't until Goku makes his reappearance that all those feelings come flooding back, and he makes the worst decision of his life. As amazing as it sounds, Vegeta does not become a good person until the end of the series. It's through his sacrifice that he finally finds redemption, and even then, his
How many
single-minded
episodes did it
obsession
take
with
him?
overcoming Goku isn't properly
So I guess, yeah,
settled
he is a
until
villain.
nearly the end of the entire saga.
Thumbs up.
And that's what makes his development so incredible. At no point before Boo does he ever fight for anyone else, even when his goals happen to overlap with others. He is a selfish, violent, merciless bastard throughout nearly
He's a prince,
the entirety of the series proper, which is what makes him such a great parallel to Goku, whose actions are largely selfish and single-minded as well, though with far more care for the world and people
Goku
around.
just wants a
The
good fight
rivalry
and eat
between
food.
These two works on every level.
It's also worth noting that it's Vegeta's actions that most commonly lead to more conflict. He goes
Yeah.
Frieza into transform.
He doesn't really
argues
think his
against
things through.
fighting Jiro
He
before
doesn't
the
care.
creation of the androids. Allows Semi-Perfect Cell to absorb Android 18, becoming perfect, and leads to the release
There's
of
the Cell.
Majin Buu. No other character is this detrimental to the hero so consistently.
But through his redemption, we find a character who
Well,
is
that
now
was a cool
even
transition.
more ripe for exploration and development. A reformed, genocidal Prince of Death come family man, dead set on protecting his family and his
family man.
newly accepted home. Which is why his segments in Battle of Gods and Resurrection F are some of the absolute best. Hell, even Super
That's
does
why
tremendous
these movies
things
are
with
good?
them, giving him some of the shining moments of the entire show.
To close, Vegeta starts as a bad man, but ends
Yeah.
up being one of the most classic and important characters in
And
the
he was a bad guy
series.
for a long time.
Temperamental, violent, and proud, he is the best example of a reformed villain in the series, and we think the second best
Character
villain
development.
from top to bottom. Now, tune in next time for something that may
That-
come as a surprise to all of you, who've never heard the name Frieza in your lives anyway.
Oh,
Here's a
wait, is
list
that
of
who
our
number?
honorable mentions.
Oh, honorable mentions. Nom flashbacks. Yamcha's the bad guy. Crane School. Is that a person or a thing? Tellus, Lord Slug. Android 13, the trucker hat. Super Android 17. Looks like Kimberly. Cell Juniors. Really, Cell Juniors? Debura. He's Stopovich? I have no idea. Snipers, just snipers in general. What? Oh, who could it be?
You fool!
Monster Carrot?
That's boring. We
What?
look like sheep to you?
No, it's Monster Carrot. Points in favor: 1, look at his design. Shades, baller. Suit, red, purple, and baby poop green. Nobody's cooler. 2, he could turn people into carrots. That's
Wait, he
terrifying.
can't?
How can you beat him
Does
if
he
you're a
eat them?
carrot? Overload him with
That's
vitamin
true.
A, give him tooth decay with excess sugar. Unless your name starts with a V and ends with Ed Gito, get the out of here. 3, he's a mob
Gito.
boss. He'll put a hit on your ass if he doesn't see to your demise himself. 4,
Who is
he makes
this?
Lucy on the moon.
Who's
That's
Peeps?
goddamn classy. Points against? Nothing. Monster Carrot's the best. Now he's out to go make 1 million bunny babies and take over the world.
Oh, God.
DBcember out.
Did they actually roll the intro? I know it's not over yet. I have a timer.
How many people thought
Frieza?
it wasn't
No
going
eye?
to Frieza at number 1? Sure, you
Interesting.
could
Does it
call
have an
this
eye in it?
boring,
Let me know in the
but you
comment
don't
section. I
value
know
when
it's a
contrarianism
fire war.
just for
Do
its
it.
sake. Some
I'm here
things
for
are
the chaos.
obvious because they are right. Not that it's necessarily wrong to think that the number 1 slot should go to Vegeta, King Piccolo, or even Cell or anybody else on this list, frankly, given your
No, I
preference.
think it was a pretty good
Truth is,
list.
We couldn't see
top 4
anyone else
solid.
but the Galactic Emperor himself sitting at the top.
His role in the universe is one of the first and most
And he
vital
pushed
parts
Super
of Frieza's
Saiyan,
character. Whereas other
which
villains
started
in
like
the
a
series had
whole
built
bunch.
up to galaxy-wide domination, it is Frieza who holds the title of full-on Emperor. With dozens, if not hundreds, of races under his employment and/or subjugation, this mighty
Employment.
Hornet potentate
Slavery.
is not just a surprise for our heroes once they touch down on Namek, but the biggest threat they've ever faced.
Whereas Cell's power and ambition reached only as far as the Earth, and poor King Kai's planet. And Boo's antics rarely amounted to much more than the loss of a few planets in the grand scheme of things.
A
Frieza
few
is the leader
planets.
of races and worlds. His impact within
Didn't he have a couple
the universe
million
spans
or something?
farther than any other.
What's truly terrifying about him is something we saw on a lesser scale in Vegeta. In Frieza's assault on Namek, we witness henchmen who dwarf our heroes in every manner at Frieza's beck and call, taking orders
Yeah.
without the slightest argument and showing a bottomless fear at the slightest hint
At
of his
what Frieza
displeasure.
can do.
He is their master. And as we watch Vegeta
Don't
struggling
get him mad.
endlessly to even stay alive against these monsters, it's frightening what depths of power this Napoleonic madman could be hiding.
And while
Napoleon
he certainly
vibes,
takes
yeah.
his time to get going, each step he takes to his final form leaves bodies in the imprints. He dominates every single one of our heroes
Ooh.
with a fraction of his strength and is an unstoppable
That's like his
force
most
through
basic
the entire
form, too.
saga, only bowing to Son Goku after forcing him to fulfill an
Super
ancient
Saiyan.
millennia-old alien prophecy.
He has no problem torturing and
Well,
murdering Nail,
not really,
Krillin,
'cause
Dende,
Broly.
Vegeta, and almost Gohan and Piccolo, as he exemplifies his mastery of not just the galaxy, but life itself. With each new form, we're awakened to
Yeah,
a
there's
fresh
a new
hell.
forms.
Jeez,
There's like, what,
you
3
write some
forms?
Pretty sick metal lyrics about this guy. Oh, wait.
What?
They
Is-
did.
But what makes Frieza
They
such
did?
a
That's a song?
fascinating
Don't tell me
character
that's an
isn't
actual
just
song.
his strength and impact on the universe, but his personality. While his power and composure are imposing, his overall demeanor contrasts this wickedly. While not
He's
talking
like
too much about the
refined
Japanese side of
Vegeta
things,
personality.
His original voice actor Ryusei
But
Nakao
villainized.
is a delight, and the original writing for him in the manga and anime are a treat. His dialogue is flowery, polite, and aristocratic to a T, so much so that he comes off as condescending and patronizing.
I don't know
to
what his
those
actual
he
voice
chooses to
actor is
bargain
like.
with.
And while certain English interpretations of him would vary wildly, Christopher Ayres and Kai knocks these qualities out of the park as he finds a middle ground between superiority and petulance, handling his wordier
Yeah.
exchanges with a Shakespearean talent.
I'm not
shaking
surprised.
you down to the core whenever the heavier, more violent moments come into play.
There's something so slimy and hateful about the way he communicates with others.
He's so spiteful.
Think Hans Landa mixed with Emperor Palpatine colored by Dr. Frankenfurter. He's so
You're
confident
referencing
and
stuff
comfortable
I
with his
don't
position
know.
That he finds little to lose patience with. The haggling and threatening of the Namekian villagers is loquacious and articulate, but tinged with an undeniable lust for blood and power, and a disdain for the impudent.
And when he finally starts to lose ground, his calm, polite demeanor crashes with wild results. He screams, hollers, and digs deep into his bag of insults and threats.
Didn't they
against his
fight for, like,
opponents,
several episodes
undermining
or
his
something?
composure in a way that is shocking, threatening, yet oddly satisfying. He's a spoiled brat through and through, but one who can easily wipe you and your planet off the face of the star map
Correct.
with so much as a thought and a wave of the hand.
Of course, his hubris is his
like
biggest
what
flaw,
he did with
but that is
Planet
all
Vegeta.
just part of his character. The only hope our heroes have on several occasions is that their actions will be beneath Frieza's notice. Whether it be letting Vegeta steal the Dragon Balls from under his nose,
Yeet.
or his genocide of the Namekians leaving him without a way to use them. Not to mention his dilly-dallying with Son Goku leading to his ultimate defeat. These moments
Yeah,
showcase
playing
the
with his food.
flaws that make a perfect villain. Sorry, Cell.
Where's the Destructo
You're
disc?
still my boo.
While perfect certainly is subjective, of course, we can't think of any other villain in the series that checks as many boxes as he does.
Yeah.
A major one, of course, being his impact on the franchise. Just ask someone to
That's
name some villains
exactly.
from Dragon Ball, and you'll know
That's
that a good
why
majority of them
King
name
Piccolo
Frieza
was 3.
first. He's also a catalyst for the biggest transformation in the entire series that would change the story and tone of the rest of its run. The
Well,
Super Saiyan.
Gohan going
Managed
Super
to
Saiyan 2
inspire
is
the
kind of a big
familial
deal.
spin-off Cooler. I mean, sure, he was only one entry above bookending this list, but it's still pretty amazing when you're so popular they start making films about your brother. Also, he had a dad
That's true.
too. Say hello to King Cold before he... Oh, he's dead.
Oh, yeah, he's already
Have
dead.
you
He wasn't
seen
around
films
long.
about Platinum Cell, Diamond Boo? No, You got Golden Frieza in all his tacky glory. Sure, the
That's
film
not tacky.
itself certainly has its flaws,
Look at
but
Barney.
the overall point is, it's all about Frieza. No other villain in the series has a comeback like this, with perhaps the exception of Vegeta. And while the Prince may have done it
True.
better, Frieza did it bigger.
Frieza did everything bigger, from his film to his empire. Hell, his power
film.
level was so big that they stopped even talking about them after he died. He was
He's got rid of power
a
levels?
measuring stick for all villains after, by both other characters and the fandom itself. When everyone is comparing themselves to you, you know you've made it.
From his
Yeah.
slimy, delightfully evil
When you're
demeanor
good-
to his unfathomable
When you're
strength,
good,
his
you tell
unique,
everybody. When you're
ever-changing
great, they tell
design,
you.
Frieza locks himself into the #1 slot on our list, and in our hearts. All hail Lord Frieza! May his reign be long and...
Frieza died. Oh, look at all those times.
Well, this has been DBcember.
That's a lot of
Thanks once
times.
again for joining us on this journey.
So
of things
next
we
week
love
we might do
and
the
tolerate
super
about Dragon Ball.
villains.
There's no end in sight for this franchise.
by
as Super
itself, or
enters
we might
the
do it with
universe
the video
survival
game one.
arc next
First
year.
video.
And we're excited to see where the franchise will go.
Y'all
can
keep
expect
showing
us
support
to
for these
follow
videos,
each
so
and
thank
every
you
step
so
along
much.
the way. Leave your comments
Hope you're
below and make
subscribed.
sure to join us next year
Almost
as
at
we discuss
40,000
the top
subscribers.
24 reasons Monster Carrot is actually the best.
Number
Monster
24,
Carrot.
Bunny Car, aka Bunny Honey Fur Magnet.
Until then, sayonara, and
Dude,
have a happy DBcember.
Master Carrot. That is fantastic. And it came out on Christmas Day, which is awesome. So yeah, there is the bonus video. I might do that by itself next week, or I might do that and the top 24 video games, 24 through 13, but I don't really want them to get mixed up. So I might just do this one by itself. But yeah, King Piccolo being at number 3, I can definitely see that. And then Vegeta and Frieza, I called that. I haven't even seen Dragon Ball Z. I've only seen the abridged, and I was able to call that, which is... shows a lot. It also shows that I read your comments, because I read all your comments and they're super helpful and teach me about stuff about Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. So I look forward to watching more of these. They have so many videos. Unfortunately, this past year was the last year that they did it. So I guess we'll get caught up in the perfect time, and hopefully you've been enjoying the video. So I hope you're subscribed, and I hope to see you back next week for some more DBcember. But until then, take care and cue the music.